You're listening to CKCU 93.1 FM in Ottawa.
That is true, and we're going over to Black Squirrel Books, and we're going to see what's happening over there with
Good morning.
Yes. Bring it on.
We have
Alan
people
Rolston.
in the Black Squirrel Books because it's open and they're serving. And Jith Paul has come in. He is one of the curators of the Ottawa Canadian Film Festival. It starts Saturday, November 3rd. Good morning, Jith.
Hello.
So tell us how this festival came to be.
It has a kind of a long history where it's ironic that we're sitting across from the Mayfair. In 2011, the Mayfair had recently crowdfunded a digital projector, which allowed local filmmakers to show their films. So I started a festival called the Tripod Film Festival in 2011. And we had around 10 successful screenings in different venues. And I decided with a couple of friends of mine to take it to the next level. So we started what now is the Ottawa Canadian Film Festival. We focus on films from all over Canada in a variety of genres. And there are short films, feature films, quite a mix. But they're from all over Canada.
And are they all screening in one location, or?
They're all screening Saturday, tomorrow, at the Arts Court Theatre right downtown by the Rideau Centre.
So you have a total of how many movies?
There are 11 short films and 2 feature films. One's a documentary feature, the other's a narrative feature, and there are 3 screening blocks, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock.
So how would you, for the general audience who would normally be looking for a movie, how would you describe these compared to what they might normally see? Would they be very, very familiar, or would they...
It's a mix. The first block is exclusively short films, so I would prepare an audience to go through a range of emotions through the short films, because there are sad films, there are happy films, there are films that make you think, and so it's kind of an interesting way to see a bunch of short films together, because you kind of see it in an audience, you hear the audience react, and what's really nice is that we'll have several of the filmmakers there to kind of chat with an audience after or in between the screenings as well.
And you said they're from across Canada.
Yes.
So we're talking like Newfoundland to British Columbia kind of deal?
Yep, absolutely. We have a film from Newfoundland and one from British Columbia, ironically.
That's cool.
4 of the films are local Ottawa films.
Okay, so, and would these be affiliated with ACTRA? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, or?
Yep, sometimes yes, sometimes no. You will see ACTRA in the credits for the ones that are associated with.
The ones from Ottawa, perhaps, were they ACTRA involvement? Do you happen to know?
I don't know, to be honest.
But
I think so. Not all of them, but maybe one of them.
All right. So out of the group of movies that you watched, are any of them horror? Because Alex loves horror films.
There is one film that could be classed as horror in the thriller psychological sense, as opposed to the blood gore sense.
I'd like to clear up that I don't only watch horror films. I watch other films as well.
They're very unique films, too. There's one about 5 composers composing inspired by their surroundings. It's a film called The True North Project, so they have to come up with an orchestral piece, but it's 5 different composers working together from different parts of the country.
So is there a through line to all the pieces?
It's Canadian. They're
Just
all
Canadian
films.
Which is why it's called the Ottawa Canadian Film Festival.
That's true.
And it's been going for how many years?
In this form, for 2 years. This is our second year. So as you, Alan, would know, you have to find a sweet spot in terms of timing. So we've experimented in the summer. We've found that this particular time of the year, there are no other competing events. In the summer, Ottawa is great for a lot of music festivals, so you're always competing with something else that's going on a weekend. So we think we've found the sweet spot. In November, there's no other film-related festivals that I know of that are on this weekend. So we're going to try it.
So the show times are, remind
2 o'clock,
everybody?
5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock.
2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock on Saturday.
Tomorrow, you do get an extra hour of sleep after the festival tomorrow because it's time change day.
That's right. The admission fee, if
Sure. Each ticket, the blocks are $10 to get into, or you can buy a day pass, which will get you into all three for $25.
That's a good deal.
If you go to our website, ocanfilmfest.ca, you can purchase tickets online till around 6 o'clock today, but there will be cash tickets available at the venue tomorrow as well.
If you had to pick one movie of the bunch that you thought, oh yeah, I could have made that movie, or I would like to have made that movie, did you see one that you thought, oh yeah, that one I would like to have been involved in?
All of them, I would say. They're uniquely kind of different in the way they approach storytelling. There are some very good films. I don't want to pick a favorite, but you will be happy no matter which block you go see.
What I've often thought about with shorts is we don't get to see shorts that often because it's not something the general public is exposed to. So this is a good chance for someone to come out and see a bunch of different thought-provoking, entertaining. There's a lot of different feelings you'll have because everyone's different. And this is, I think, a really good opportunity because, like you say, they're from across Canada. There's a lot of different creative thought happening in a short space of time. And the screening would last about maybe 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you're going to see this diverse group of...
Yep.
And for the price of admission, you really can't go wrong.
It's also in a beautiful space. The OAG, the Ottawa Art Gallery, is a beautiful place to tour in between screenings. And, it's new, it's free. The gallery is free. So it's an opportunity to check out that new space as well.
Now, the one thing I think anybody who's never gone down there needs to know is parking could be tricky, right? So if they can ride the bus in from a parking ride, that would be the best.
That would be ideal because it's also very close to the Rideau Center and it's easy to get there through transit.
So the last one you did the previous year, you did it a different time in the year, not November?
It was in June.
And you found that was competing too much with the music festivals?
Other events in town. There's a lot going on in Ottawa in the summer particularly.
Well, there's even tons of film festivals.
Absolutely.
Like if you look through the calendar and go, who's doing what? So how would you say this is different from the other festivals in Ottawa?
We do have a lot of local festivals. Most of them, there are different types. There are festivals based on catches, which foster people making movies. There are festivals that focus on a particular genre, whether it's experimental film or other genres like a horror film festival. The difference with us is that we didn't put a limit on any genre, didn't put a limit on duration. Our only criteria was that it had to be Canadian. So it's a sampling of all kinds of different types of movies. And that way, our goal was to appeal to a general audience as opposed to filmmakers and affiliated people or people who like a particular genre of film, like experimental films. This way, you get a broad cross-section of different kinds of films.
Right.
And it's a chance. With a short film, there are a couple of things. You have to kind of grab the audience with a twist or something right away because you only have a limited amount of time. But on the flip side, if there is a particular film that isn't your cup of tea, you know that there will be another film coming along in 5 or 10 minutes.
Yes.
So it's not as painful as sitting through a feature film in a genre that isn't necessarily appealing to you.
So if it's your first time going to a film festival, I'm going to assume this would be a great one to start out. If that's your first time going, It would be a great place to start.
It's also interesting because with short films, they don't lend themselves to playing in a mainstream theater as a short film. So it's also a chance for filmmakers from outside the city to showcase their work in Ottawa. And we do have filmmakers that are making the drive from different parts of Ontario and Quebec to actually be at the festival just to see how audiences receive their films. So it's kind of a different experience in that sense. It's not the same as going to a multiplex and seeing a Hollywood movie.
Yes, and having the filmmaker coming is a nice bonus because, especially for anybody who's listening who is involved in filmmaking, go in and see these short films and then have a chance to say, hey, how did you do that? Or how difficult was it to do that? To get some inside scoop.
And as an independent filmmaker, the best thing you can hope for is an audience that actually engages and reacts to your films, whether positively or negatively. A reaction is a reaction. And that's not often something they hear because many of them at different points in their career put their films online, and you don't really have that tactile feedback of an audience actually sitting and watching your film and seeing them react. Did they laugh at the point you thought they would laugh? Did they kind of cry at the points you thought they'd cry? So it's kind of it is a different experience than seeing a standard film.
Did they scream at that moment in time? You expected them to
Or
scream.
did they gasp? Or
Well, and as an artist, that's always something you're looking for. You want to know how what you're creating is being received so that you can go forward and create things that will be even better received.
And some of these films are first films of independent filmmakers, so there's a lot they can learn too by seeing how audiences react and hearing feedback about their films.
If I heard you correctly, you said some of the movies you're going to screen, and you had a whole bunch to choose from, were created by a first-time filmmaker, and they were good enough for you to go, you know what, we're going to screen this.
Absolutely. This time around, we were in a position where we had more really good films that made our final list than we had time to program them. Which bodes well, because if we do really well tomorrow, we are looking into expanding it into more than one day.
Oh, that's excellent.
That's awesome.
I like it. I'm thinking, so it's tomorrow. First set starts at 2 o'clock at the. Yeah, it's the AG, not the AGO.
2, 5, and 8.
No, 2, 5. No, the name of the venue. It's the Ottawa
It's the Arts Court Theatre.
Arts Court Theatre. So those of you who are listening, looking for a movie, now you may have listened last week. We had Joshua Robert Bateman in, and I asked him, why is it so hard to find a good movie to watch, even in a theater or on Netflix? Now I have an answer to my inquiry tomorrow, 2, 5, and 8. All I have to do is come up with $25, and I can go see a bunch of movies that I would not ever see in any other theater,
Nope.
and I would not see on Netflix,
For sure.
and I'll be entertained.
Great. We do have sponsors this year. Saw Videos, one of our sponsors, the Rideau BIA, and Vimy Brewery. It's a microbrewery locally based off Little Italy off Preston Street, and we will have beer for sale at the event as well.
Woohoo! Actually, Howie Hooper is helping us this morning. He does something with the Vimy Brewery as well. I think he did his album release there. So I've heard of that entity before today. Well, thanks for coming in and letting us know. So it's
Yes,
2
thank
o'clock,
you.
5 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Arts Court.
ocanfilmfest.ca for more information. There are synopses and information about the filmmakers there as well.
All right.